Ever wonder why everyone talks about strategic spend and tail spend like they are totally different planets? Well, they are. Today I'm diving into the key differences between tail spend and strategic spend. And trust me, this will clear up a lot of confusion. Stick around because if you are dealing with purchasing headache, this is exactly when you find the cure. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button if you want more procurement tips, no jargon, no stress, just better ways to manage your money. Alright, let's kick things off with tail spend. Imagine it as a random little purchases your company makes that no one really pays attention to. In classic procurement speak, tail spend is defined by Pareto principle, where the bottom 80% of your suppliers make up only 20% of your spend. Tail spend is generally low value, high volume transactions. Think of it like buying office supplies or last minute services. Things that don't require much oversight. It's messy and often unplanned, with bunch of small orders coming in without anyone really tracking them. And because it's handled by random stakeholders outside the procurement team, it's usually inefficient, risky, and costly to process. So let's talk about strategic spend. This is exactly where your money goes. Strategic spend involves your key suppliers and contracts, and it's the stuff you negotiate hard on because it directly impacts your business. Think of it as the core deals your company relies on to keep things running smoothly. Unlike the tail spend, strategic spend is low volume but high value. You're spending most of your budget here, and because of that, it has to be managed with care. You've got procurement involved, negotiating terms, tracking performance, and making sure every dollar counts. No last-minute surprises, just solid planning and execution. Alright, let's quickly compare both side by side so it all clicks. Ready? Here we go. While tail spend follows the Pareto principle, meaning 80% of your suppliers make only 20% of your total spend, strategic spend flips the script. It's 20% of your suppliers account for 80% of your spend. Tail spend is all about low-value, high-volume transactions, like buying office supplies. Meanwhile, strategic spend is high value, low volume. Think of major contracts with key suppliers that run the business. When it comes to organization, tail spend is full of proliferation, a bunch of random purchases across different suppliers and departments. Strategic spend, on the other hand, it's all about consolidation, fewer suppliers, tighter control, and better deals. Tail spend lack ownerships. Random stakeholders across departments are making purchases without procurement oversight. In strategic spend, procurement is in charge, managing relationships, contracts, and negotiating terms. Tail spend is often unplanned. Think of last-minute purchases with short lead time. But strategic spend, that's well-planned, long-term contracts, carefully thought out, no surprises. When it comes to the cost, tail spend is super inefficient. The cost of processing each small purchase can be way higher than the value of the item. Strategic spend, on the other hand, is efficient. Big contracts mean you are getting the most value out of every transaction. Tail spend is risky because it's unmanaged, making it as a hotspot for non-compliance and overpaying. Strategic spend is controlled and compliant. You've got strict process in place to manage risk and ensure you're getting the best deal. And finally, tail spend leads to value erosion. You're losing value by spreading out the purchases. Strategic spend, it's all about value creation. You're negotiating better deals, building relationships, and making your money work harder. What kind of spend gives you the most trouble? Tail spend, strategic spend, or both? Drop a comment below. Okay, but why should you care about the difference between tail spend and strategic spend? Strategic spend and tail spend are totally different animals, and you just cannot manage them the same way. Both need attention, but they demand completely different approaches to keep your procurement process running smoothly. Trying to handle them the same way is like asking small bakery to sign a 50-page corporate contract. It's not going to work. For your strategic spend, those big, high-volume deals, you do need strong process. Contracts are detailed, terms are negotiated, and the suppliers are fully onboarded into your system. It makes sense to invest time and resources into managing these relationships because they directly impact your business. But when it comes to tail spend, things need to be simpler. Full stop. You cannot expect a small French supplier to sign a multi-page English agreement with terms that don't even apply to their business. Tail suppliers are handling smaller, one-off transactions, and the onboarding process should reflect that. It needs to be quick, simple, straightforward, and low pressure. The same goes for sourcing and procurement policies. While strategic suppliers might go through rigorous vetting, bidding, contracting negotiations, tail spend should have a much faster process. The focus here is efficiency, not lengthy negotiations. You cannot go around negotiating every single coffee purchase, right? Okay, unless you have a lot of time on your hands. Your policies need to be flexible enough to accommodate these smaller transactions without getting bogged down in red tape. And that's why understanding the difference between tail spend and strategic spend is so important. If you try to apply the same heavy process for both, you're going to waste your time, frustrate small suppliers, and miss out on efficiency gains, and you will lose a lot of money. Simplifying the process for tail spend while keeping a trigger grip on strategic spend is the key to balancing control with flexibility. But wait, there is a good news. Tail spend doesn't have to be a pain. If you get it under control, it can actually lead to surprising savings. By consolidating your suppliers and automating those small everyday purchases, you free up time and money to focus on the big stuff. And here is the best part. I'm going to help you to do it. In my next videos, I will guide you step by step on how to get your tail spend under control, save money, and make your procurement process way more efficient. So stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's tackle the tail spend together.